Hello and welcome to another week of excellent sports talk. I am your host, Mark Bradley, and I appreciate everybody who came back for another week. Today we have a lot of good topics today, and we are going to go ahead and get into those things. So basically, to start off the show, we are going to talk about basically college football. There's a lot of news in college football that's going on right now. So basically, we're going to go ahead and talk on that, and then so we're going to talk about of course the second week of the NFL. It was a lot of good games, and we're definitely going to have to talk about those games as well. And then also we have each and every week we're going to talk about what we always talk about, which is the NBA playoffs. Of course, because I'm hoping that you guys looking forward to those NBA talks each and every week. So I appreciate everybody who's come to the stream. If you guys have any questions or comments, please go ahead and put them down. If you want to talk about your favorite team, maybe winning or losing this week, or just any questions in general about sports, let me know. Let me know, and we'll be able to speak on it. So let's get right into it. So the first we're going to talk about college football. And there's a lot of things going on in the college football world that we have to get into. So let's begin with the Pac-12. So the Pac-12 has decided to go ahead and have their season. So they are going to start November 6th. November 6th will be the starting day for the Pac-12. And, Pac-12 was one of the first conferences to say, hey, look, we're going to have a season. We're going to go ahead and start in October. We're just going to play the Pac-12 is just going to play each other. We're not going to play any outside conference games. So that was one of the first conferences to really say that, but then they double back and say, hey, look, we're not going to do it. We're just going to postpone it until further notice. So they double backed on themselves. So, after talks of trying to get a season back, talking to the governor as well, they finally decide to have a season. So that is that's a big deal for the Pac-12, because Pac-12 has been wanting to have football season for a while, and it's here now. So, excuse me. So it's here now, and they're going to go ahead and start on November 6th. So that's a big deal. And look, so like I said last week, this is basically a domino effect of other conferences going to have to start their season. So basically it's the start of a domino effect, like I said last week, because they see how well the ACC has been going on, and their test has been coming back pretty well, and they haven't really had too many problems as far as having players and coaches having COVID-19. Now there has been some reports of it, but it's been really small. So basically with that, now you're seeing many different conferences really making a push to have a season. And we all seen it with the Big Ten. The Big Ten is going to start late October. The Pac-12 is starting now. So it's a big deal. It's a big domino effect that's happening right now. So I think with this, it's going to be a lot of maybe smaller conferences who just didn't shut down their season as a whole. They just postponed it. I think that they will start considering having their season start, which will be good for a lot of a lot of people who, of course, love their football and everything. It's going to be a good deal for them, and so, like I said, it's starting to become that domino effect, and it's really good as far as college football wise. So basically, that's the Pac-12 is beginning their season, and then also we have the SEC. The SEC is starting next week. Excuse me, it's starting tomorrow, matter of fact. So the SEC is about to go ahead and start their season. And I know not only SEC fans, but college football fans in general is excited for this. Is very excited for this because we all know the SEC is the best football conference in all of college football and all of the NCAA. So a lot of these games are going to be very competitive from like Jump Street. It's going to be week in and week out, like hardcore games, because we all know with the SEC they usually have maybe one or two teams in the college football playoffs, and it usually comes down to like those last weeks to determine who's going to get into the college football playoffs. Now we all know last year LSU was basically like a for sure decision for the SEC to represent them to the college football playoffs, and nobody seen LSU come up the way they did last year to really get to where they were. Now it's going to be different for the SEC. I don't think LSU. I believe they're going to have a good season, but I don't think they're going to have the magical season that they had last year, because that was amazing how they was able to get to where they needed to get to. And so, look, the SEC we always know is going to be competitive. We know the SEC is going to really have battles. As far as trying to get to who's trying to get to that at least fourth spot in the college football playoffs, because I think Clemson is going to control that number one spot, because Clemson for the past 3-4 or maybe even before that has been one of those top consistent teams ever since Dabo Swinney basically established himself as the coach there at Clemson. So Clemson is going to be, the number one team, I think, for sure. And then Alabama's always good. Florida is a highly ranked team. Georgia's always a highly ranked team. That's going to be competitive. Auburn, it's always a top team that plays hard. So you never know with the SEC. The SEC has been so dominant over the past couple of, like, not even the past couple of years, for like 10 years plus, has been so dominant that you can always expect an SEC team to get to the college football playoffs. So, and now it starts next week. It's going to be a fun ride all the way till the college football playoffs, and we know for a fact that it's going to be competitive games all around in the SEC, and it's going to be fun to watch. It is going to be very fun to watch this year for the SEC. So we have one more college football news, and that is, well, we're going to the HBCU side, historically black colleges and university. Deion Sanders, prime time. We all know Deion Sanders from a Hall of Famer, one of the top cornerbacks to ever play the game in the NFL, is getting his coaching opportunity at Jackson State University. And at first, I didn't think it was true. People said it was happening, but then Then it said it wasn't happening, but it's a done deal now. So Deion Sanders is now the new coach of Jackson State University. And I know it's going to be exciting times because, you know, we all know Prime Time to be a big personality. He's been that throughout his whole career. You remember when he was at his draft, with the gold chains and, you know, just Jerry curl slick, you know, that was Deion Sanders. That was Deion Sanders. So he's bringing that to Jackson State, and I think this is a big deal. I think this is going to be a very big deal for Jackson State because they're going to get recruits. They're going to get a lot of recruits who wants to play for Deion Sanders because we all know Deion Sanders has coached, high school players, especially for like All-American games. You know, you get those all-stars from different states, and he coached them up. And he's always in the community trying to help people get better at their game, especially the cornerbacks, because that was his primary position. So with his big personality, Deion Sanders, he's going to bring that to Jackson State. And people are going to love to play for Deion Sanders. So I can expect Jackson State football program to take a big jump. Probably not this year. I mean, whenever they do start HBCU football. But it's going to be a big deal as far as Deion Sanders playing for Jackson State. You will go to Jackson State and play for Deion Slim? I feel it. I mean, look, I would too. I'll play for Deion Sanders, you know. And Deion Sanders is look, I mean, even before he got there, look, he had the band. He had the Jackson State band, the Sonic Boom of the South. That's what they call themselves. He brought the band out. He had an escort guiding him to the basketball court. Look, that was a big fiasco, and that's just Deion Sanders. That is just Deion Sanders. That's his nature. It's just who he is, and that big personality is going to bring people to Jackson State University. So I expect them to get some highly talented recruits, and I expect their program to be good maybe in 3 or 4 years. Once those freshman guys really get up to par, unless you just, recruiting guys who's just ballers out the gate, which happens a lot. I mean, then all power to them. They're probably going to be a powerhouse in football because usually Jackson State football is kind of, in middle of the pack. They're not the Florida A&Ms. They're not the NC A&T. They're usually not, the South Carolina State. Those big powerhouse football teams, and more in the middle of the pack. And I think this would bring a big thing to him. It's going to bring a big spotlight to HB. I think he will. Now, look, son, this is what I think. Now, if he stays there and he brings a lot of talent to the HBCU, then I think that's going to help HBCU football get a lot of top talents. But see, here's the thing. With Deion Sanders, let's say he does a really good job at Jackson State. They're winning. They're getting to the playoffs. They're making championships year after year. NFL comes calling them, Deion, we want you to offer you a job somewhere at maybe coaching somewhere like New York Jets or something like that, because Adam Gates is on a hot seat as far as the New York Jets. So say NFL comes calling. Is he going to go to the NFL and just leave Jackson State? It could be a big chance. What's up, Joker? How you feeling, bro? It could be a big chance that he just goes and leaves to the NFL and just leave Jackson State high and dry. It's a big possibility. I personally hope that he does stay there at least 5+ years. At least give us 5 years and 5-6 years of good, strong football there at Jackson State. And if he gets his opportunity, so be it. But I'm just saying, as of right now, it could be a win-lose situation for HBCU football, right? Because Deion is Deion. He's going to be a showstopper everywhere he goes. It doesn't matter. But if the NFL comes calling real quick, then look, it's kind of hard to turn down an NFL job. An NFL head coaching job. I'm just going to be honest with you. So basically, that's the biggest thing I think that is going to happen. I think it is going to be a big spotlight to HBCU football. And look, I'm very excited for it. I am very excited for it. So we have to see how this goes. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm excited for it right now. And when HBCU football starts up, whenever they do, hopefully it's in the spring, or hopefully it's a little bit earlier. With all these conferences really, start their football up again. I think it could start earlier. But if it's spring, then hey, so be it. So that is going to be the end of the college football topic. We are going to go ahead and move on to the NFL Week 2 schedule. And so we are going to highlight a lot of the game, some of the bigger games that happened during Week 2. And of course, I have to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and Dallas Cowboys game. Like, what in the world is going on with the Atlanta Falcons? Atlanta, let me be clear. So I'm looking at the score by quarter right now. Atlanta scored 20 points, 20-0 in the first quarter. Atlanta looked active on defense. They was causing turnovers. They was causing problems. They was driving down the field really easy. Matt Ryan was on fire. You scored 20 points in the first quarter. And then look at this. Look at this. Dallas Cowboys, they get 10 points, but Atlanta gets 9 more points. So basically it's still 29-10 going into halftime. That's still a respectable score. Right? Excuse me. So we move on to the second half, right? Atlanta scores 10 more points, right? So okay, excuse me. So it's 29-10 going into halftime. Atlanta does not score a point in the third quarter. Dallas scores 14. They're chipping away. It's still 29-14, right? Excuse me, not 29-14, because Dallas scored 10 more points. So they're chipping away. Dallas is getting back into the game. They look active. Dak Prescott was on fire. And then you come down to the end of the game. You get an onside kick opportunity, right? Atlanta. Explain to me, why do you watch the ball? Atlanta, you do not have to wait for the ball to travel 10 yards before you can touch it. You sat there and watched the ball travel 10 yards. It was right. It fell right into your lap, bro. That ball fell right into your lap, and you do not get it. You let Dallas basically steal the game from you. I don't know if Atlanta is cursed or something, but Atlanta has a problem with holding leads, and there was no reason why Dallas should have won that game, like, at all. Dallas should have not won that game, like, point blank, period. I mean, look, Cowboys fans was writing it off. They was like, look, we lost this game. Like, just go ahead. We get that 0-2 start. And I'm just looking like, yo, what? They're coming back. They're chipping away. You get an onside kick. You get the win. Mine. I'm like, look, never in my life have I seen any team blow that big of a lead. So the game comes down to 40-39 Dallas Cowboys. And look, that's a big win for the Cowboys, man, because you do not want to start 0-2. But to be completely honest with you, I don't think this division is going to be any good by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you, because the Eagles look like they stink. The Eagles look like they stink. The Giants stink. And the rest, they're not the Redskins anymore. The Washington football team stink. And then Dallas was close to being 0-2, an 0-2 start. So look, I really don't know about this division. I think this is going to be another bad year for the NFC East. I just do. I just do. I don't think this is going to be an enjoyable season for any of those teams. I think Dallas are the top dogs of the division, but wow, it looks really sad for this division. But look, I mean that's a big win for that's a big win for Dallas. That is a very big win for Dallas. So we're going to go ahead and continue to another game that was on my radar, and that was the late game Sunday with the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. And I thought this was going to be a real good game. You know, a primetime game for Cam Newton, who's really didn't have too many playing time over the last couple of years. I think this was his time to really, you know, shine and be like, hey, I'm Cam Newton. I'm back. I never left. Look, Panthers, look what you're missing out. I think this was his time. And Cam Newton played a great game. He had 30 completions for 44 attempts, 397 passing yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He also had 11 carries for 47 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. So he's running the ball very well. That's how Cam Newton operates. So he had a decent game, guys. Cam Newton had a decent game, and he's been playing really well the first 2 weeks. I think he's playing well. I don't think he lost his step, but he's a physical guy, so it wasn't like he wasn't working out while, you know, he wasn't getting much playing time. But gosh, man, the way Russell Westbrook is playing this year right now is unworldly. Like, he is MVP. Like, he is early season MVP for me right now. I mean, just look at these stats. 21 for 28, which is very efficient. 21 completions for 28 attempts, 288 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Look, Russell Wilson is playing out of this world. I don't know what it is, but Russell Wilson is having a year, guys. He's having an amazing year. And look, I see this going on for the whole season. Look, Russell Wilson has proven time and time that he's an MVP type person, because look, he didn't have an offensive line to save his life, and he was still putting up numbers. So look, as of right now, Russell Wilson, you get an applause from me. And I see this continuous. I see this is going on like throughout the whole season. So I mean, next week Seattle has to play the Dallas Cowboys in Seattle. And look, to be quite honest with you, I think this is like a game for Russell Wilson. I think he's like, look, we got the Cowboys. We know the Cowboys are coming off a great win, but look, You have to travel to Seattle. Look, it's time for me to show out and show you guys. Look, I'm the MVP. Dak Prescott is not better than me. And look, I'm going to ball out. So this is going to be a big game for Russell Wilson, especially if you want to become an MVP. Because I mean, throughout his career, I think I seen a stat where Russell Wilson has never had an MVP vote in his career, which is crazy because we're talking about he's a Super Bowl champion. He's a Super Bowl champion. How is he not being considered as an MVP candidate? That seems off to me. That seems very off to me. So I think this is his year that he's going to really take that step to becoming that MVP, right? So yeah, the late primetime game was a big success on the Patriots. You know, that's a tough loss, but you know, I think they're going to be okay. I said in the beginning of before the season started that it's going to be tough for the Patriots to win games, and I still stick to my prediction of Buffalo winning the division. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than what I expected. I look, Cam Newton is playing a lot better than I thought he would because it's a lot of new systems, and you know, Bill Belichick is kind of like his way or the highway. Because we all know the Patriots do not mind trading people. But I think Bill Belichick is adjusting to Cam Newton because, look, they haven't had a running quarterback even before Tom Brady. I mean, Drew Bledsoe was like the starting quarterback before Tom Brady, and both of those guys are like statues in the pocket. So now it's different world in New England. So I think Bill Belichick is adjusting well to what Cam Newton's strengths are. So, shout out to the Patriots; they're doing a good job. And so, one more game that you know was a big one, and that was looked at was the Monday night game. Was the Monday night game, which was the first game ever in Las Vegas. So the Las Vegas Raiders and the New Orleans Saints was the last game of the week. And look, even before we get into the game, we have to talk about the stadium, Allegiant Stadium there in Las Vegas. Guys, it looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, those shots that those cameramen was getting inside that stadium was so beautiful. Like you can just see the Vegas background. Inside the stadium, and you could just see the big lights of Vegas. Well, I mean, they were still playing in the day, but look, you know what Vegas looks like. It's just beautiful all around. Stadium looks nice. They got the beautiful big scoreboard at the end of the field. They have the fire that for the torch that for Al Davis, and his wife was the first one to Al Davis' wife was the first one to set it off there in Las Vegas, set the fire off for Al Davis. Look, that stadium looked absolutely amazing. And I know those Raiders fans, you know, it hurts for them not to have fans there for the first game. But look, they showed out. They showed out for the first game. They had a little tailgate session. All the Raiders fans was out there, you know, supporting the team. Look, the stadium looks beautiful, and I think that's a big success for Mark Davis, who was really looking for that stadium. Now, look, as a person who was in the Bay Area for 2 years because I went to school there, right there. There at San Francisco State, it's like only a 30-minute, like a 20-minute drive without traffic. It's about like a 30-minute BART ride. If you know BART, that's the train system out there in the Bay Area. Oakland loves that. Like the city of Oakland loved that team. Like they still do. There's some Raiders fans who's kind of heard about them leaving, but they are Raiders fans that's okay with the move. But look, it's a big success for Mark Davis because they have a new stadium. The Raiders was the only only team to share a baseball field, a field with a baseball team, which is ridiculous. Like that in itself didn't make sense. You had to play on that dirt infield for like at least a month or two, depending on Oakland Athletics making the playoffs, which they are this year. So I think they're going to win the division. So they was going to play on that dirt field for another, 2 months, all the way going into October. That is horrible. That is horrible. And look, the stadium, it has a lot of history, but it's kind of nasty. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. That stadium in Oakland was kind of nasty, and it stunk. I just had to be real with you. It didn't smell right. The bathrooms there were disgusting. And look, Mark Davis wants to work with the city of Oakland and say, hey, look, I'm trying to get a new stadium. Let's work it out. The city of Oakland didn't want to work with them. Like, look, we can't do it. So why wouldn't he leave? Even with the Golden State Warriors, they left for San Francisco because they couldn't work out anything in Oakland. Like, I understand that space is tight in Oakland, but look, sometimes you just have to move on to bigger and better things. And I think this move from Las Vegas is a big success for the Raiders franchise. And they're showing it because we're going to get into the game now. The Raiders came out with a big victory, with a very big victory. Now, it didn't look well for them in the beginning because, look, the Saints defense was getting to Derek Carr. Derek Carr was holding the ball really, really for a long time, and he was just, taking sacks instead of throwing the ball away, which is not good. And I think Derek Carr needs to utilize his legs a lot more. Then I understand he's, going to stand strong in the pocket and make throws, because I believe Derek Carr, he believes in himself that he can make any throw in the NFL. But look, I think he can utilize his legs more. So New Orleans jumped out on them 10-0 really quick. But then the Raiders after that, look, they played out of their minds. They managed to get 17 points from Derek Carr pass to Zay Jones, and also I believe, no, they didn't start off with Darren Waller. That was a touchdown in the second quarter. I believe it was Zay Jones, and I want to say, Adam Ingold, their fullback. He started off the touchdown scoring. Then Zay Jones was the second touchdown, and then Darren Waller, who had a crazy game. He had 12 receptions for 105 yards and 1 touchdown. Darren Waller is becoming one of the best tight ends in the NFL, bar none. I think Travis Kelce is number 1. George Kittle maybe 2. I think Darren Waller is 3. Think top 3, definitely. Had a great game. Derek Carr, who had an excellent game, going 28 for 38, only missing 10 of his passes for 284 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the Raiders did an excellent job of controlling the line of scrimmage in the second half. First half, they was dominated. But after that, in the second half, they buckled down and did a great job with a lot of backup offensive linemen. And Derek Carr, who's doing a great job passing in third down situations. When you convert third downs in the NFL, you're probably going to win the game. And Derek Carr hasn't turned the ball over. I don't think he's thrown an interception yet. I think he has 4 touchdowns because he did have one last week and now 3. So he's doing an excellent job of not turning the ball over. And I think that's the Raiders' strength right now, is not turning the ball over, because other than Jalen Richard, did fumble the ball, they haven't turned the ball over much. So I think that's helping them win games. And so, look, the Raiders are shocked, and so they're 2-0. And I don't think anybody had thought that this would be the start. I don't think anybody thought that they would beat New Orleans. So they did. So, but they have a tough game this week coming up against the Patriots. So we're gonna see if the Raiders are able to make sure that Cam Newton doesn't use his feet as a weapon, which is kind of hard to do which is kind of hard to do because they do have a lot of design runs for Cam Newton there in New England. If they can keep him bottled up and make him more of a passer than a runner, I think the Raiders have a good chance of going 3-0. I really do. But the defense has to step up their game because the defense, Oakley, has been bad. Has been really bad. And we're talking like maybe 10 plus years of being bad. Even when the Raiders had Khalil Mack, this defense was still horrible. So their defense do have to catch up to their offense. Their offense for the Raiders has come out on fire, guys. They scored 34 points in both of their games. So they're going to score. They're going to score. And if the Raiders can play defense like they did in the second half against New Orleans, I think they'll be okay. Let's be real with New Orleans. I think it's time for Drew Brees to hang them up. I think it's time for Drew Brees to hang him up. He had a bad game. He had a good first drive, but after that, it was all downhill for Drew Brees. And I think this is his time because he had a bad first game as well. So look, it might be time to really think about who's going to replace Drew Brees. And look, I don't think Jameis Winston's going to be that answer because look, we all know how Jameis Winston get down. Jameis Winston could be the best quarterback one week, but then look like a completely different human the next week. Oh my goodness. He will lead the league. He led the league last year in touchdowns and interceptions. Like, that's kind of crazy to me, but the Raiders' new stadium got the win. That's a big deal for them. So 2-0, it's a good start for Oakland. So that's basically the end of that topic. And if you guys want to go ahead and speak on the last week, maybe your favorite team won, maybe your favorite team lost, let's discuss it. Let's discuss it, guys. So if you have any questions or comments, please. You see it going right by. There we go. And it's coming back one more time. There it goes. Please, by all means, comment. And we will definitely discuss it, guys. So let's move on to our last topic. And that is the NBA playoffs. So the NBA playoffs, we're in our Final Four. And look, it's been kind of sort of competitive. So both series are down to a 3-1 lead. So let's start on the East side as Eastern Conference Finals, as we always do, with the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. And it's looking more and more like Miami's magical season is going to continue. And look, it's amazing what Miami is doing in the bubble. I think they only lost like 2 games in the bubble. Matter of fact, it is only 2 games. They lost one against Milwaukee and they lost one against Boston. So look, they have been a good team in the bubble. And I think this is like a bubble-made team. Like, it's a lot of low ego guys, a lot of young guys who just want to hoop. Guys. And look, I think coming into the season, Miami, was an okay team, but they wasn't like, a finals contender. I think we all thought Milwaukee and Boston was the cream of the crop of the East, which was the case for the regular season. But look, here they are in the one game away of getting to the finals. And I think we have to consider Eric Spoelstra to be one of the best coaches in the NBA. Because look, they put together a team that has no quit in them, like at all. I think I heard this a lot. I think this is what the Clippers should have been. Like, this is the team the Clippers should have been, the Miami Heat. So I think this was the team that the Clippers should have been, but the Clippers are out now, so we can't say anything. So look, I think this is a lot of players on the Miami Heat who's I think are getting to above average. I don't think they're superstars, but they're above average players. Like Duncan Robinson, he's a shooter. He can shoot the ball. He knows his role very well. He's going to shoot that thing and generate a lot of offense. Tyler Hero is another player that people overlook coming out of Kentucky. Nobody really gave him like any leeway. That was like, okay, that's a good pick for Miami. I think he's going to do okay. Just going to play his rookie year out and then, just do what he did. He's playing out of his mind, as we saw last game. He had 37 points. He's only 20 years old. A 20-year-old rookie can't even legally drink. Is playing like that against Boston, who has a lot of vets, who's been around the block a lot, giving them 37 points. And then we have Bam Adebayo, who's becoming a great player, a great big man. And then we have Jimmy Butler, who's always been good, who's getting more and more recognition now. But he wasn't getting it in Philly or even when Chicago, when he was taking over for Derrick Rose, because Derrick Rose was basically on his way out of Chicago because of his knees. So you have to be impressed with what Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, the whole front office, have done in Miami. They put together a really good team. They have put a really good team. And I think, championship or not, here, I think Miami had a very successful season getting as far as they did. I think they're going to make the finals. But look, I think Boston is not going to have any quit in them. I think they're going to go ahead and win. I believe this is game 5 tonight. I think Boston's going to go ahead and handle their business. But I don't know if they can win 2 more games after that. I think it's a wrap. And look, let's go to Boston. Boston really shot themselves in the foot, guys. Let's be 100% honest. Boston shot themselves in the foot. They should have won game 1 and 2. They was up double digits. It was up double digits and let Miami come all the way back and beat them in game 1 and 2. That's absolutely unacceptable. And then they won game 3 and they lost this game. So look, let's be 100% honest. This series should be 3-1 Boston. It should be 3-1 Boston, but you have to close those games out. You have to close those games out, guys. So Boston have nobody but themselves to blame. This series should be 3-1. Now, look, like I said, I think Boston's going to go ahead and win this game. Make it 3-2. Make it a little bit interesting. Make it a little bit interesting for Miami. But I truly do believe Miami could win in 6 or 7 games. Now, look, if it's a game 7, everything is up in the air. You never know with game 7s. It can go either way. Look, game 7 is game 7, but I think Miami's going to handle their business in game 6 and get and go ahead and move on to the finals for the first time since I can't remember when. I think it was 2012 last time, because that's when LeBron James played the Spurs and the Spurs basically washed them. Because look, at that point, Dwayne Wade, Father Time was catching up to him. And, Chris Bosh was going through a lot of stuff with the blood clots. So he wasn't playing up to his par. And LeBron was, being LeBron, he was doing everything he can. But, yeah, it was about time for LeBron to leave Miami, go back to Cleveland, go back and let him win a ring there in Cleveland. So I think that was the last time the Miami Heat made it to the finals. And, hey, this could be their year. This could be their year. So, look, you have to go ahead and give Miami their credit where credit is due. They are a bubble-made team. They are playing at such a high level here in the bubble, and we have to give them their props. We have to give them their props. So, let's go ahead and continue on to the west side of the bracket, the Western Conference Finals. And here we are. It's another 3-1 lead for series lead for the Los Angeles Lakers. And look, last game yesterday, they played very well. They out rebounded the Denver Nuggets, which they didn't in game 2, which is really bad on the Los Angeles Lakers' part, knowing that the Los Angeles Lakers really pride themselves on bullying teams in the paint, and that wasn't the case for game 3. So look, so here we are. I mean, look, a 3-1 situation for Denver. They have been in this situation throughout the whole playoffs against the Utah Jazz, against the Los Angeles Clippers, and here we are against Los Angeles Lakers. But look, the Los Angeles Lakers is a different animal, guys. Los Angeles Lakers are a different animal, man. They play defense. They play defense in Los Angeles, guys. They have a lot of rim protectors there in Los Angeles, which makes a lot of things hard for the Denver Nuggets. And look, it's a 3-1 situation. I could be wrong. Look, I was one of those people who was on record to say, hey, look, I don't think they're gonna come back 3-1 against the Clippers. And look what they did. Look at what they did. They came back. They came back on the Clippers. So this could be another situation. Look, it's too early to tell. I mean, the Lakers have been in the situation many times. Up 3-1, they've been closing out these games against the Portland Trailblazers and the Houston Rockets. They've been closing these 3-1 games out. They're not getting these teams. They're not letting these teams get an inch of hope of coming back in the series. They're handling their business. They're handling their business and getting these teams out the way. So, excuse me. So look, they're getting these teams out the way. And look, Denver could come back. Denver could come back. I don't know. I truly think Los Angeles is going to handle their business on Saturday and go to the finals and, get LeBron James back where he rightfully belongs, because I think he's been in the finals 9 straight times, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Ooh, 9. That is not 9. 6 straight finals before last year when the Lakers got hurt and they didn't even make the playoffs. So I think this is where LeBron James rightfully belong, back in the finals. And now look, let's be real, guys. Let's be real. This could be a different series. This could be a tied series going into game 5 tomorrow. This could have been a different series, guys. Look, the Lakers handled their business game 1, did what they need to do, play excellent defense. Game 2, Denver adjusted and almost beat them. If it wasn't for Anthony Davis doing what he did, making that game-winning 3, which was a huge miscommunication from Miles Plumlee. Why would you go under a non-existent pick? There was no pick. LeBron James did absolutely nothing. He just stood there. What was a big decoy? Because I think it was 2.1 seconds. You can obviously tell Denver did not want them to throw a lob, because Rajon Rondo was taking the ball out. And look, it was a lot of lob opportunities, but he went under the screen and Anthony Davis hit that game-winning shot. That was big. And then game 3, Denver came out and beat the Lakers. Had a 20-point lead basically throughout the whole game up until the end, where they let LeBron James, Rajon Rondo, and Anthony Davis go on a big run That was a big run. We're talking about maybe a KCP and a Kyle Kuzma 3 away from being a 3-0 being a 3-0 series lead for the Lakers, and then they would have closed it out game 4 because they won. So it would have been a sweep. So look, this could have been a 2-2 series right now. A 2-2 series right now in the Western Conference Finals. And look, you gotta applaud the Lakers doing what they have to do, because if this was a 2-2 series, it would have been a lot of talking about Denver could make it to the NBA Finals. Denver. And look, Denver, I think players really became superstars during this bubble. I think Jamal Murray has became a superstar, and Jokic became that superstar. Probably the best center in the NBA. I always thought Joel Embiid was the best center in the NBA, but I don't think so anymore. I think Jokic, his game, it reminds me of Dirk Nowitzki so much. Other than he's a way better passer than Dirk, but look, I think Jokic is becoming one of the top big men in the NBA. So I think Denver's players really have evolved this in this bubble to superstar status, guys. So and Denver's going to have years and years of good teams, probably NBA Finals contention teams, because they have a lot of young players who are becoming great. And if they add pieces and get Will Barton back, who didn't play in the whole bubble and in the time in the bubble, this could be different. This could be very different. So I see the Lakers. I see the Lakers go ahead and handle their business, because I don't think they want to keep Denver around. I don't think they want to keep Denver around the way Denver has been playing well during these 3-1 deficits. So I think the Los Angeles Lakers, veterans, are going to want to finish off and handle their business and move on to the finals. So look, it could be a Miami Heat, Los Angeles Lakers finals. LeBron James facing his old team. And it's going to be a lot of talks in Miami. It's going to be a lot of talks in Miami, like, oh, we've been waiting this opportunity ever since LeBron left. Here he comes. We're going to show him. We're going to show him, man. South Beach is where it's at, guys. It's where it's at. So South Beach, they're going to be buzzing about this. And look, you really have to excuse me, give big kudos to the Miami Heat playing like they did this time in the bubble. So kudos to them. Kudos to the Miami Heat. The Lakers been the favorites, so we expected them to get to this point. Of course, I think everybody wanted to see the Los Angeles Clippers and Los Angeles Lakers during this time, but unfortunately, you're not gonna get it. So that's the end of the show for today. I want to thank everybody who has came to the show each and every week, showing love, liking liking the video feeds, not only on YouTube, Facebook, and also Twitch. Twitch has been a big support there from the Twitch community, and I appreciate that a lot. And also the YouTube community, love you guys, and Facebook, everybody who likes and shares the video. I appreciate everybody who do. So we're going to be back here, same time, same place, noon Pacific time, noon to 1 Pacific time, with more great sports topics. So until next time, I will see you next week. And if you're on Twitch, I'm going to host Horizon. She is currently playing Call of Duty. She's probably one of the best Call of Duty players I've ever seen, to be honest with you. Slim, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support, man. You always do come and support me, bro. So I appreciate you, Slim. Thank you for stopping by. And so, yeah, we are going to go ahead and host them. Just tell her what's up for me. And so I will see you guys same time, same place, right here, noon to 1 Pacific Standard Time. All right, peace.